What's up, everybody? It's Jeremy here from Ocean Bound. So in the last month, I did a series on the F-One SK8 foil. It was a true joy to demo this foil. I loved it, highly recommend it. The skate was familiar, and I did mention that it's kind of like, it felt like it was in the middle of my HA925, my MA800, and my MA1000 foils. It was fast, you know, very carvy, maybe a little skatey, totally efficient, and a good pumper. And I remember, you know, the HA925 changed everything, I feel like, for me when it first came out. It was the secret sauce in the lineup for me, and I think many others who were probably the similar or close to the same weight as me. The HAs were faster, which is something that we needed, and they had great glide and efficiency and still pretty agile for the span that they had. So, you know, at the time, they did everything I needed them to do. The only thing I'd say that they didn't really do as well as the HS foils was the turning, but you can't have everything, and that's fine. Well, then the MAs came out in this last year, and they were like a better version of the HSs, so I think a lot of people forgot how much fun the HSs were for carving, because everyone just instantly frothed on the MAs. And I get it, and I love them too. They're pretty fast, the rail-to-rail turning and carving is just great, a little bit of breach resistance built in, and I love jumping on them. There's something about, you know, the re-entry into the water was really nice. It's this kind of cushion feeling that I kind of preferred over the HAs or the HS line, but they're not as efficient and they're not really great for gliding, and the pumping isn't that great either. But they love going rail to rail, and that made us feel alive again. This year, my whole style of riding has changed, and I became more of a carver on the waves, cutting back up and down the contours of the waves, whereas the HAs are more like I would do a lot more like pointing down the line kind of surfing. So this whole year, my MAs have just dominated my session. Alright, so back to this month. I was demoing the skate, and you mentioned once or twice over the series that, you know, I compared the front profile of the skate with the 925, the HA925 of the Armstrongs, and they were so similar, like almost exactly the same. So that's why it's so damn familiar to me, and that's why I loved it. You know, it's an HA925 with the wingtips chopped off. I heard of, you know, people chopping their 925s, but I never really wanted to defile my wings. You know, what's the point? Armie made a really good wings. How could chopping them actually make them better? You know, I see people froth from their chop shop creations, and I wonder how much of this is hype. You're going all in on forever changing your foils, so there's just gotta be some bias built in here. Okay, so for part of my skate series, I wanted to explore how I said that the skate was in between the 925, the 800, and the 1000. And so I went out of Pleasure Bay one day, and I tried each foil for 15 minutes. I started with the skate, then I went to the HA925, then the MA800, then the MA1000. And what I found kind of surprised me. I just didn't like my HA925 as much as I used to. I preferred the Skate 850. So when I got home from that session, I made a crazy decision. I had to send the skate back, so I taped off the wingtips on my 925. I traced the skate's outlines of the wingtips on it. I got out a hacksaw and I went for it. Dude, I can't believe I was doing this. I never thought I would actually go here. So I'm gonna say that my chop shop was a little more involved than some others that I saw on the internet. Most people seem to take an inch or two off of the wingtips in a straight cut. I knew that there was some foam in the middle, but I didn't know where it was, and I didn't know what happened when you hit that. I just hear that people are trying to avoid the foam. I did indeed find this inner foam, and I don't know why, but I kind of figured it was like this semi-porous, super light material that would, you know, take on water and ruin the foil from the inside out. That doesn't seem to be the case. It's hard, so when sanding and filing, you know, it almost seems as hard as the carbon. I was considering putting a little epoxy on to cover it, and I still may, but it just seems to be okay the way it is. Can I just say that it seems totally sacrilegious to use 150 grit sandpaper on a foil. But forget the 150, I was using a file. It was hardcore and it was totally satisfying. I really had to grind and file and shape my creation to get the new wingtips to kind of match the lines of what was already on the non-defiled part of my foil. I felt like I was an artist, like a mad scientist or an engineer. I totally loved it. But would it work? The next chance I got, I went on a session at Pleasure Bay to see what it was like. And guess what? I feel like I basically created a foil that seems to have more characteristics or properties of the 850 skate than it does of the HA925. I love it. It's now a totally unique foil in my quiver, somewhere like in the line of like 850 square centimeters, and I can feel that, but it feels so much more nimble than my 925 and more geared towards kind of longer but juicy hard carves and going rail to rail. So after this flat water session, I'm totally stoked with my new Armstrong hybrid. And sure, you know, the wingtips are a little thicker than the skates are, and that's to be expected. I don't feel like filing off the tops and the bottoms of my wings going out to the wingtips. It's fine. It seems to be fine the way it is. But the biggest test is going to be how it performs in waves. And actually, I can say already, it does perform well. But I'm going to save that for the next video. So a little side note, a full day or so after I went full chop shop, the Armstrong released their new HA line. So to any of you that are sitting on your old HA925s, you could sell them, but they're really not selling for much. And you know, I think if I'd sell mine, it'd go somewhere between 200 and 300 bucks. So you may want to consider chopping them. And if you do this, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm totally interested. So that's all for now. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please consider clicking that subscribe button if you want to see some more. My next video will be pretty decently sized waves with this new foil, and I hope every single one of you guys are doing well out there. I'll see you guys soon on the flip. I wish you all an awesome day. Later.